everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and we might have a special guest with us. But before we get into that, if you enjoy today's episode of the podcast, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to our Discord, bloopers if they happen. The $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in digital HD format. The one that's up right now, I think, is the Halloween Eldar with the sort of Dia de los Muertos theme. So yeah, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, tell them about what you tell them about.
Yes, sir. It is like the 25th of October, so all of you have a week left to get all of your great Halloween merchandise. The next time we air an episode, it will be gone with the exception of the hat and the new little lord. So grab yourself some of the glow-in-the-dark zip-ups, hoodies, shirts, and pants while they're there. And also, if you'd like, all of our objective mats are 50% off still. So grab some mats for yourself, or just, if you're not going to play, fun souvenirs, whatever you like to do with them.
Yeah.
Get the mats, get the stuff, get the merch, get all that great stuff.
It's all about the merch, Spider-Man.
All about the merch as we get ready for Christmas and all that good stuff. So
Christmas is not even Halloween yet, man. You can't. Christmas? You're talking about Christmas?
I am saying that will be the next big drop.
Okay, because I'm wearing the Detective Ridiculous hoodie and it's great.
Oh, the detective one is really good. Yeah.
Would you say it's the perfect gift this festive season? Is
not yet. No, it's not time for that yet. It's too soon.
Oh, okay.
It's too soon.
Worth a try.
Too soon.
All I want for Christmas is you, Kirioth.
I don't think that's true, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I want a lot more for Christmas than just Kirioth. Like, come on.
Wow, is he not good enough for you?
No, that's fair. That's fair. I can't argue with that. I wouldn't accept that as an honest response otherwise.
Oh, also, Kirioth is here, everyone! Yay! If you couldn't tell, Kirioth is here. Hi, Kirioth.
Hello. Is that the most disjointed intro we've ever done?
No.
For me being here as well?
No.
There's no chance.
No.
That's the most.
No?
No way in hell.
I must have blocked something out.
We have done way more cursed off-topic intros than that. By far.
I was waiting for a Walls reference, but then I got excited about the idea of selling a hoodie, and I just spoke before anyone had said I was here. So it's my own fault, really.
So I was at TwitchCon. I was gone for an entire week practically, so I did not get a chance to do any kind of new episode research. And whenever I am slacking, we always have the good person to pick up the slack. And bada bing, bada boom. So Kirioth, I actually have no idea what the hell you're going to be doing today. I have no idea what the topic is.
Vehicles, flyers, Eldar, weapons, machinery, heavy metal, Kirioth, right?
One of these is not like the other.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, machinery is a weird one to throw in there. It's definitely that one that stood out.
Whatever. Yeah, totally.
I don't like being back.
Please let it be an Eldar episode.
I've got some real bad news for you. I've got some terrible news for you. I'm sorry. I've also just realised that of all the things to forget to do, and this is bad, and I'm assuming that as I say this, the live chat is going mad. I forgot to get a quote. So I'm going to try and make one up on the spot.
What a shame. I guess there's nothing for me to guess. Ah, shoot.
Okay.
So, Kirioth, what are we doing?
I think, shall I just go for one? See if I can get one on the fly?
Don't even, it's already happened. The pain is here. Just tell us the episode thing.
I love how beaten down you are by your own thing that you do every week.
No,
I've had enough. Please stop.
You missed the point. It's so that now I can't fail to guess the quote either.
No,
okay. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's Daemon Engines.
It's Daemon Engines.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah. So infernal beasts are segmented for manifold claws whose maws spew forth the molten stuff of the beyond, says Shy.
I read that, and then
correct.
was like, that's Daemon Engines, because the first thing I think of is Forge Fiends.
I'll be honest, if Bricky hadn't said it, I would have guessed it was something demon, chaos, and awful. And, Daemon Engines, that fits the bill.
Just for a second, I really thought, yeah, they're the best. I really thought that you just either knew beforehand, though, Bricky, or you just pulled some sort of weird psychic thing and had just taken a stab in the dark, and it turned out to be absolutely correct. But I didn't read the I didn't read the chat until after you'd said it, so I had a moment of, that's really impressive. Or he's doing that thing he's done where he already knows and he's trying to get one over on DK, and then I looked at the chat and went, oh, that's the least fun of the options that I
He's
had in
a
my head
psyker!
there.
Feed him to the Emperor!
I do have a pretty big head.
That's he does.
That's the only criteria that's needed, surely.
For psychers, naturally.
Yep, feed him to the Emperor.
All right.
Yes.
Demon Engines. Exciting. I really like Demon Engines. This is going to be good stuff.
So these are the, funnily enough, heavy machinery of the Chaos Space Marines, if you will.
I was right.
You were technically correct.
The best kind of correct.
It is the best kind of correct. If you had the option of either having some sort of heavy, excellent tank-based vehicle, would you want that with a bloke piloting it, driving it, or would you prefer to have a warp spawn demonic entity infusing every part of it and sometimes growing weird flesh out of it instead? Which do you think would be better? Because if the answer is the normal guy, you are wrong. So pick carefully.
It's hard to pass up just some bloke, though, But yeah, I'll go with the Daemon Engine. That's just full of warp-tainted chaos nonsense.
In fairness, you can generally tell the bloke what to do. You cannot always tell the Daemon Engine what to do.
True. Sometimes the Daemon Engine will do as it pleases.
That is fair, although there is a hilarious thing we'll get to. No, we don't. No one wants that. No one wants the Mario Kart ATV. No one's interested. It's not.
That looks like it could pull some sick drifts.
Hey, does it though? Or does it
Yes.
look like it should never have been made? I'm kind of in two minds on it. That's a lie. I'm not.
Well, the
You can
picture
tell I'm
Shai
not.
showed is Ultramarine, so of course I think it shouldn't exist. So,
Oh, that's harsh. And also objectively and morally correct. So, yeah, the Daemon Engines are essentially massive tanks or walkers, or indeed like sort of dreadnought style, almost creatures, but not really. You take the heavy machinery of war, then you stick a demon of varying power into it, give it a bunch of guns, point it vaguely in the direction of the enemy, and let them do their work. They are completely infused with like demonic entities, and pretty much all of them are all about bloodlust, violence, destruction, ripping apart anything they come across. And they are by far one of the things that I think makes the Space Marine, like the Chaos Space Marines, more interesting and cooler than normal Space Marines.
haven't there been like several instances where like the Daemon Engine will just kind of like rampage and kill a bucket load of its own troops or troops that it's supposed to be on the side of because it's just a Daemon Engine and it just wants to kill?
One would argue that's often its MO, depending on how it's. You know that opening part of Jurassic Park where he bites him and he's like, shoot her. Yes, like that's kind of how I imagine Daemon Engines are for the most part.
Got you. Yeah, I was gonna say, haven't we read at least one or two books where like a Daemon Engine is just like, oh yeah, we meant to point it at like the Imperium and the Guard, but whoops, the Daemon Engine just has a mind of its own, wants the bloodlust, things got a little too quiet, and it just started eating us.
Well, that's the thing. There's a kind of there's a couple of different ways of making Daemon Engines. There are the ones that are like a kind of empty chassis until a demon is shackled and forced into operating it. And then there are Daemon Engines which at one point had a mortal occupant, whether it's a human pilot or driver or a Chaos Space Marine. There's a couple of different ones, and really the end result isn't all that different. The demons don't particularly like being in there, and they want to kill everything anyway because, you know, demon. And the ones that have got a nice little core of humanity absolutely hate and loathe everything about what they've become and are filled with an insatiable rage and disgust at their own existence, which then means they want to murder and kill everything they come across. So it's basically two different roads that lead to the same highway, I guess. And the highway just points to constant combat and slaughter, yeah.
Yeah. Shai said you can make a deal with a demon to give it a physical machine body, or you can force the demon inside a machine with trickery, or machines can get accidentally hit by warp and demon gets stuck in there.
And neither of the options are good.
No.
It all leads to bad, but in the best possible way. So there's a couple of different ways that, like, Daemon Engines are made. So there's the Forge of Souls, quite important. That's where Vashtorr the Archifane does his excellent work. One of the things that's made in there is the Soul Grinder, which I love it. It's kind of goofy.
We're going to have differing opinions on the Soul Grinder. I'm just going to say that right now.
Oh, dear. I mean, but they're so charming and weird. And
okay, Shai's doing it too much justice. I need the mini immediately.
Oh, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask for that because
I kind of remember talking.
Damn it!
Wait, but the mini isn't bad.
It's not the worst.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a version of it that's a lot better, in my opinion. And I still don't like that one either.
Really? Why?
I think
it's a Daemon Engine. It's supposed to be all messed up and weird, right?
No, okay. There's a difference between something being messed up and weird and being messed up and weird in a particularly pleasing way, like from a design point of view. Like it's fine. Like obviously it's correct in how it is, but there's another version called I'm sure you'll talk about it in a moment, Kira, if you don't mind me jumping the gun.
Of course not.
There's another version called the Defiler, which I also think is kind of silly, but it's a bit more. I don't know. Let me grab the mini. This might not even be the mini. This might be something else. But it's a bit more like it's a bit more engine than demon.
Oh, that one is awful. That one I can see why you would dislike. I
like this one more than the other one.
Really? Because that one looks stupid.
To me, I like. Okay, I think you like the more demon version. I like the more tank version. I like it more like the. A demon is inside the tank and has warped it out into this weird manifestation, whereas the Defiler feels like he was put on top of legs.
I think I would like the
other one, the Soul Grinder.
The one you like, I would like if that stupid-looking helmet wasn't at the top, like poking out like some stupid Jack-in-the-Box.
Okay.
I hate that helmet up there. If that was gone, I'd be way more into it.
Defilers have a lot of customization, so it doesn't necessarily have to have that helmet. Yeah, but it's just kind of wacky, you know.
He's just a little guy.
He's not that little. He's not that little at all.
No, but when I see it, like all I can see is that helmet is like there's just a little guy in there with like a joystick.
The Defiler needs an updated model, but
it really does. It's old. Like the Defiler was introduced, like the model for it was introduced in 3rd edition for 40k, which was a long time ago now. I mean, to be honest. It's one of those things where they made like the same or parts of the same kit do like different purpose. So you had the Soul Grinder and the Defiler, but they both basically come with the same sort of base chassis. It's just the legs are slightly different. To be honest, if they did completely separate models for both, I think both would look a little bit better because the Soul Grinder could do with more organic material over the legs themselves. That way it would look a bit more... Well, I say a bit more natural. It would still look horrific because it would be half machine and half full demon. But you would have more of an integration between the two. And the Defiler could kind of do with being a bit less of a box on legs and maybe having more of an unnatural appearance to it than it currently has. But I think at this point, for me, I like both. I have to admit, I lean more towards like the Defiler side of things. Like Bricky, I just find the Defiler a bit more aesthetically pleasing, but it's because there's a lack of Like, I want to see more skin and flesh and muscles on the legs of the
fellow Night Lord fan.
I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
I agree. I think once we talk about like the Venomcrawler, I think that's kind of like the peak Daemon Engine design when it comes to mixing the hybrid. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
They've definitely improved the concept a lot more as they've made more Daemon Engines. It's like they had the idea to begin with, and they made a couple which do kind of touch on what they were going for, but as time's gone on, they've got way better at making proper, like, freaky hybrids between the two that kind of make both the Defiler, like, and the Soul Grinder just look a bit dated, which, again, it makes sense, because they were like, I mean, what was the Defiler, like, 2003? 4? I can't remember when that kit came out, but it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, just
but
there
are differences between the two, like, fairly significant ones. So the Soul Grinder originates, or it's said to originate from the Forge of Souls, and the Soul Grinders have 3 oaths they have to take, which are the oaths of the Iron Pact that they take with the Masters of the Soul Forge. The first one is that all souls that they harvest will be used for fueling the forge itself. The second one is that all the wrecked remains of like war machines and tanks destroyed by the Soul Grinder will be offered to the forge. And the third one is that if any of the Chaos Gods attack the forge, the Soul Grinder must get rid of all their loyalty, all of their oaths to other people, and come and fight in its defense. So these are like Chaos Undivided to the very core, because the Forge of Souls is like a undivided kind of almost like shrine, like it's dedicated to making these demon machine hybrids. These particular Daemon Engines have full-on pacts that they have to make in order to exist as they are, which is awesome.
Wait, so they're essentially guardians of the Forge. Like, their first and foremost loyalty is to the Forge. Nothing, like, if the Forge is under attack, it's like, nope, nothing else matters. I am going back to it. The end. Period.
This also is rather fascinating, though, because this is all lore that was made pre-Vashtorr. But we know that is basically Vashtorr's contract, that when you sign on, he's basically like, all right, you want to be this big, crazy Daemon Engine with all this power and murder? Cool, but you owe me this, you owe me this, and you owe me this. And I don't like the 4 Chaos Gods, so, you know, it kind of actually, it slots in pretty well.
Yeah, they kind of integrated him pretty decently for like a newer character. The stuff about the Pact was in the 4th edition Chaos Demons Codex. So it's not like it's not new lore, it's not new background. It's been around for a little bit, and they kind of slotted him in really nicely to interact with it. But I just find that really interesting with the Soul Grinder, like regardless of the design, the idea that there is like a list of things you have to adhere to before you're released, and there is a loyalty that just goes above and beyond anything else that you can just be called back to is, I don't know, it kind of speaks of a really fun power dynamic between the ones making them and the actual Daemon Engines themselves.
I was wondering, how often will the other Chaos Gods try and attack the Forge? Because, like, the whole point of these Soul Grinders is, if anyone attacks the Forge and it's another Chaos God, you got to come defend it. Like, how often does that happen? Like, is there like a war to like take control of the Forge?
That I'm not sure of. I did have a look into it, and I couldn't find anything that suggested there'd been like an all-out attack by any one of the Chaos Gods. It might just be that it gets tested occasionally. Like, maybe one of them is like, can I get away with taking this on and making it mine, or is that not going to end well? Is that just going to confuse everything? And I can't find anything that specifically says there's been like a full invasion of it, but
every now and then Khorne's just like, it does sound like a bit of fun.
Yeah, let's why not give it a try? Let's try it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, there is a lot of infighting in there.
Yeah. Shai
Yeah.
says TLDR, Soul Grinder is much better than Defiler purely on lore. Defiler is just a tank on legs. Soul Grinders are dead demons who suffer in limbo of Forge of Souls, forced to surrender their true name and trying to fulfill their almost impossible demonic pacts with Vashtorr to gain name and body again. Yeah, lore-wise, that does sound cooler, but, you know,
Pretty
aesthetically.
hardcore.
But I like tank.
Tank is also.
They
pretty
just
cool.
like the aesthetic, Shai.
I've never met a guard player who was like, tanks, not my thing.
If you met a guard player that's, damn, I wish my tank had more fleshy bits.
I do know someone who had an infantry-only guard army, which just made my brain hurt. But you know,
Yeah,
was
that
like,
was
what?
a phase.
there's always one like freak in there. There's
But
always
that's
one
like
in every
those
friend
weird.
group.
That's like those weirdos that like Oreos, but they don't like the cream center, and it's like, that's, man. Can you
Whoa.
take your heresy somewhere else? And
Whoa, the
I
cream
100%
center.
agree.
The cream center is not better than the cookie part. The cookie part is better than the cream.
all right, look, Kyrios, get us out of this hell.
Double stuffed Oreos are trash. It's too much stuff.
I have to admit, I agree with that. There's got to be a
What?
balance. You've got to have the balance right. You've got to have the balance.
Thank you. The regular Oreo cookie has exactly the right amount. Exactly the right amount of cookie to taste ratio.
I mean, your taste buds are heretical, though. You're the one that has a bitter, undying death feud with cheesecake.
Because cheesecake sucks.
All right,
Okay,
Kyrios, get us out of this hell.
We're gonna have to, this is gonna turn into a full blown three-way.
Ricky is the Daemon
I can't
Engine
be
of
part-
the episode. Yeah,
I'll agree with
the,
I'll agree with the Defiler. I'll agree with the Oreo thing. I'm not going to bat for you for cheesecake being bad. We're just gonna have to leave it there and pretend that never happened.
You're
So,
the only one, Bricky.
one man alone against the universe. So
Judge me for being weak.
So, the other thing that we have talked about is the Defiler, and the Defiler is pretty much tank on legs as opposed to demon attached to legs. Not created in the Forge of Souls. The first ones were on the Forge World of Xana 2, and Abaddon wanted them made because he wanted stuff for the first Black Crusade. He wanted walking crab tanks, and that's what he got. And to be fair, they are pretty cool. So they had like chaos sorcerers that used chaos magic, and they draw demons out of the warp and then trap them within the hull of the Defiler. Something that was interesting is that everything that I found talks about it being like covered in runes, the hull. And there's not really on the actual model any indication of that whatsoever. So that's interesting. I'm assuming they just didn't want to cover it in intricate carvings and stuff. But
Yeah, that's probably like, if people want to do that, they can do it themselves. Kind of like with like the banners and all of like the little scrolls that have writing on them and stuff. Because every time in like a book they talk about chaos, I was like, oh wow, look at those pretty gems. Oh snap, look at those carvings. Oh my god, runes of chaos that are making my mind go crazy. And yeah.
if they do an updated version one, I'd love to see that though, because of like the fact they've done like word bearer models and stuff, and the Marigold tainted dreadnought they did for Horus Heresy, which has got actual like runes carved into the armor. I would love to see that actually properly in the model, just because it would fit the background a little bit better. Also, that artwork is badass.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
There is a variation of the Defiler that we have to touch on, because
Is it
basically
just Defiler where he just files away demonic papers?
I mean,
Are you allowed to
needs
fire
to
someone
have-
from someone else's product? Is that allowed? Is that not a thing?
Vashtorr needs to have a tax guy. Who do you think this
Yeah.
is the CP? Wait, we know who the CPA is. It's like that. It's that dude in the Nurgle. Epidemius, is it the guy who like keeps track?
That's true. Yeah, there is one.
Oh yeah,
there is
he
the tax
is. He
guy.
does. He keeps track. He's the Death
How many
Guard
plagues?
CPA. Mm-hmm. How many people died? How many people were infected?
CPA
how much you owed to
14th
Nurgle.
Legion.
Yep.
Yeah. Do
So-
you think Nurgle collects taxes at the end of the year on the plagues? Like, good job, guys. You made a whole 20,000 plagues. I got to take about 30% of that, and an extra 5% for Chaos Undivided self-employment tax.
Oh, Oh God, don't talk to me about self-employment taxes.
We live in
I-
California,
yeah, no, I keep-
like
baby.
you don't know. Yeah. Oh baby, I love it.
You've reminded me of the email every other day that I keep getting telling me to do my taxes, and I keep saying no, but I need to do them, and now you've reminded me of that, and now I'm having a breakdown. There is...
All right, Sean, you're going to need to cut that before Kirath gets audited.
Yeah, please do.
So the filer.
So, the filer is the one that files the taxes. There is also... Because they've got a fairly... They've got a good range of weaponry, but essentially you've got a battle cannon in the chest, then you've either got some sort of ranged or some sort of melee attached on either side of the big boxy body. There is, however, a Slaughterfiend, which is my favourite variant.
Oh,
I didn't
what
know
a
this
name.
existed until, literally 2 days ago. I didn't know this was a thing. So...
What a
Slaughterfiend.
name. Oh, hell
There's no separate model for this, but the background is incredible. It's a Defiler that has been dominated and ridden by a Khorne berserker.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically just a Defiler, but one time, a Khorne berserker jumped on it, subjugated it, and was like, you are mine now, and you do as I command. And the Defiler went, okay, yes, I agree. And now it's an actual thing. Which is, I love that. Incredible.
It has a kit-bashed version here.
Yeah.
I can see you've got Wally the World
Yeah.
Eater on top with the chains, which is lovely.
Wally the World Eater.
Have I not told you about Wally the World Eater?
You probably did, but I probably forgot.
Oh, he's just a really old Khorne berserker mini that's been in the promotional material for 40K for a long time. Oh, wait, that's actually not Wally up there, but
It's the one with the weird face, isn't it?
It's the one with the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Wally has been around for a while.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I've seen him. I just didn't realize he was called, he had, I don't want to say lore, but I didn't realize that he was a recognizable thing that's been there for, ever.
It's a fun, little meme.
Yeah. That's cool.
Slaughterfiends. That doesn't look too bad. It looks like a nice combination between the Soul Grinder and the Defilers.
Yeah,
I'm on
kit
board
bash.
just
I
for
like
the
that.
name, honestly. But essentially, Slaughterfiend is just a Defiler, and then a Khorne berserker was like, "You're mine now," and then the Slaughterfiend
Pretty
just
much.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty much.
And then it's just the guy's noble steed for a while.
So he managed it. He did the thing, which then meant that since that time, berserkers consistently apparently attempt to emulate that and copy it. So there's a line that I
varying
found.
degrees of success.
Oh, it's so stupid. In battle, whole units of berserkers will attempt to clamber onto a nearby Slaughterfiend, if only to steal a ride into the fray. I love the idea of a massive war, a massive battle going on, and there's just this moment of someone looking out and seeing a 10-man squad of berserkers trying to clamber up onto just a random Defiler to try and claim it as their own. It's just great.
A group of Slaughterfiends are known as blood packs.
Yep.
That's so metal. I love that.
That's
absolutely
so
ridiculous.
Stupid.
What? Stupid?
No, because you make a blood pact, and they're a blood pack.
Yes, it's metal.
Okay,
I love it. It's
funny.
cool.
It's stupid
Okay.
funny, not
Cool.
stupid. It's
I thought you just meant
ridiculous.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Top
it's
tier
stupid,
punnage.
but it's good at the same time.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. We're good.
That it's such a world eater's thing to do.
It is.
You know, I really can't appreciate that because there are a few things more that say world eaters more than that complete removal of critical thinking and I'm gonna ride the bigger death machine.
As if you even need to begin with, or having the presence of mind to do it as well is kind of impressive. It's like there was some thought went into that. It was ridiculous thought, and even more mad than they usually are. But someone thought about that and then decided, you know what? I am going to go for it. I am going to try and ride the Defiler. I love it.
You know, I gotta be honest with you. I don't really think there was any thought into it. I think a berserker just went berserker, and he just.
So it was more like instinctual.
Yeah,
that's actually more scary.
Yeah, it's a berserker.
I believe that. I believe that like his rhino got blown up, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to kill enough people if I run," and so he found a different way to do it.
Yep.
Oh,
Happy
I need to get in there. So we've done a couple of the multi-legged ones. We're going to go back a little bit though, because it's been a long-standing alternative to the Leviathan dreadnought, which Chaos had access to. Unfortunately, if you're playing 40k, you don't have access to this anymore because they decided to retroactively make it only part of the Horus Heresy because Games Workshop are silly. And this is the Decimator, which is by far one of the coolest older models that they've made. I mean, look at that.
Whoa!
Ooh,
Yo, that's so cool.
Oh no, I've got hot takes again. I don't like the Decimator look.
What really?
It's too much shoulder. Too much shoulder. That's entirely the reason. Everything else about it, the face, awesome. Too much shoulder.
It does have a lot of shoulder, but yeah, I'm the same way. I kind of love how big and bulky the shoulders are.
It's a little. I almost kind of wish it only had one of the big shoulders and some random demonic crap on the other, like an asymmetrical kind of doodad.
Oh yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. But I see where you're coming from with this at least.
These things, the tail end of 9th edition, were ruinous. They ripped people up. They were so good in game, and then everyone bought 3, and now they can't use them because Lamau.
At least they look cool. Well, to some people, they look cool anyway.
To some people,
yeah.
I mean, I've owned a couple over the years, and they're just so, I don't know. There's something about like where the head goes into the chest. There's a ton of cables and stuff. Like there's so much cabling on this model. It looks like the entire thing is just cables and armor and almost nothing else. But close up, it just looks like an absolute mess of technology, which is one of the things I like about it so much. But it was kind of supposed to be something to kind of counter the strength of like the Leviathan dreadnought. So something that could kind of go toe to toe with those, but it wasn't that strong. It wasn't actually powerful enough to deal with Leviathans one-on-one, but they have a massive range of weaponry, which did a lot to kind of encourage their use amongst traitor forces. So there's so many good options for this. So you can use siege claws, there's storm lasers, conversion beamers, like rapid fire butcher cannon, and the soul burner petard, I think it's called. I never know how to pronounce that.
I think it's petard, but yeah.
Petard. Which,
yeah, I'll take a soul burner, anything, please.
Just the name of it is great. Yeah. I think, wasn't that one of the ones that you saw most often in loadouts in Ninth?
You often ran a double soul burner because combine them together, it would do mortal wounds on a 2-up to wounds. So each decimator dunked with like Iron Warriors about like 13 mortal wounds every time they fired. And so 3 of these things would just house an entire knight. But then you'd fire back at them, and they're demons. They have a 5-up invul, and so they would be like, sometimes they'd just roll well and ping off all this damage, and it's really aggravating to deal with. But then you can't use them because
can I ask what weapons are in these pictures? Because all 3 of them have the same weapons, where it's like that kind of claw thing, and then like the gun with the blade on it. What are those? Because those seem very popular in these pictures.
So you've got the siege claw, and you've got the butcher cannon. Is the gun on the side there?
Okay,
it's like an autocannon, basically, just like a chaos autocannon.
It just looks more hardcore because it's got a full sword hanging underneath it.
Yeah,
I like the siege claw a lot. During 9th, it was fun because they had Let the Galaxy Burn, which was add +2 to your flamer shots. And so doubles the claw on the inside of the claw, that's a flamer. I would, if you ran 2 of them, you would get 4 extra shots, and then the claw was also a melee weapon, so you would actually do some genuinely nasty melee damage. So it was really fun.
I want that soul burner. That's the coolest weapon on that list. That's just that big cannon looking thing. Mm-hmm. Give me that soul burner. Give me that soul burner.
I like the storm laser. I just think it looks neat.
That's pretty cool too. Yeah.
Also, storm laser is just, I don't know. It feels like such like classic sci-fi naming for that one particularly. Everything else, like a siege claw or a butcher cannon, just sounds like really hardcore and evil. And then you've got storm laser, which could belong to literally any franchise. It could be any IP. That one. I still think it's one of the most fun Forge World models I've had for ages. And yeah, there's a couple of things that are like kind of interesting that are sort of touched on, but not given a huge amount of extra like elaboration. Like they're supposed to be combinations of human and Xenos technology, which is then fused with warp stuff.
Huh.
But there's not a huge amount as to what that Xenos technology is. So it's one of those things where they go, here's a little tease, we're not going to give you anything more than that, which is kind of a shame.
Shai said you just explained their entire lore, by the way.
That's pretty much it. It is pretty much it, yeah. It's they're a mix of weird stuff, and they were made to be Chaos Dreadnoughts, but not really. But sort of, but not really. And that's about all you're getting out of... They've been out for so long. They've been a thing for ages, and then they've never really been expanded on.
So how come they got rid of them? Were they just too... It can't be because it was too popular and too many people were running it?
Well, what they did was so Games Workshop decided with 10th that they were going to take the Forge World models for Chaos and just move them all into Horus Heresy. So that effectively most of the stuff, I say most of the stuff you get from Forge World now is technically Horus Heresy. That's not necessarily true, but it is true for the Chaos side of things. They just decided that so that they would not be usable in 40k, they would just shift them over. Which was puzzling because a few of the things that we've got queued up to talk about, they were usable in 40k for the longest time, and they never had rules for Horus Heresy, which is the thing that upset most people, I think. These are units that were not in that game. They were not part of it. They had no presence in it whatsoever. And then Games Workshop went, and now you can find all the rules for this stuff you used to use in the rules for a different game that they were never part of, but we're now saying they are. Sorry.
That's so weird.
I bought myself Contemptor and Leviathan Dreadnought, the brand new plastic kits for Heresy, because you could use them in 40k, and then you can't, and it's just it's infuriating. At least on the Chaos decision. Size. They put a lot of Marine units to Legends, but Marines also have quadruple the list as everyone else does. But for Chaos, it was particularly nasty because Chaos is the redheaded stepchild.
I don't understand. So, how does that do anything for anybody? Like, that's not going to increase sales. That's just going to make player bases mad because they can't use the stuff that they want to use for 40. Why?
It's literally sunsetting physical models, and you thought Destiny did it bad.
Yeah, also, that's oof.
Anyway,
it's not great. Not the best decision they've ever made.
Yeah.
What's the next one you got, Kirioth? I'm curious.
So the next one we have is the Helldrake, because I feel like this and another is like kind of like the intermediate point between things like the Defiler and the Soul Grinder. Like, I'm thinking in terms of real world releases and models. The Helldrake is kind of a good example of them moving further into that full sort of hybrid feel. So the Helldrake is a flying Daemon Engine, and it's one of the most hardcore ones because it used to be just an aircraft, just a fighter of some kind piloted by a space marine, but it's been twisted and corrupted so badly by the warp that it has turned into essentially a giant flying dragon-y thing.
Yeah, I love these things. I've seen the mini for them, and they're so great. I love them.
They're really, really like there's something about like the wing shape and the amount of like decoration
Gilding.
on them and stuff.
Yeah,
It just
it's
looks so
good.
But in the middle of that, there is what was left of the pilot. So
really?
they're still in there. They are still in there, except the actual aircraft and the pilot themselves have been overcome by like the demon that is now inhabiting the machine. And they are just like a little scrunched up remainder of humanity buried within like the mass of this aircraft that absolutely hates everything.
Oh wow. So they're not when I see these minis, I was just like, oh yeah, it's just a chaos dragon. It's just a mechanical chaos dragon. Did not realize it used to be an actual plane and that there's a pilot in there that is just suffering for all time because the demon has full control over everything. That's a little grimdark.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty hardcore. They're also fully like they can fly in space, so they're not just atmospheric craft. And when they travel, one of the things that they will sometimes do is like hang on the underside of chaos ships. So you have like a swarm of almost like looking like bats hanging off the underside of a chaos ship. And then when they get within range of an enemy, just a big flock of them will detach and fly towards them, which is such a cool like description for it.
Yeah, that is terrifying. That is for a bunch of them to just fall off a ship and just start going to town on. Yeah, no thanks.
It's pretty hilarious though. I look at it like Red Eye's Black Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! But chaos.
I can't believe out of all three of us, you're the one making the anime reference here.
Okay, so I was actually really big into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid. Not the show very much. Much more on the just the playing of it. Yeah.
I really like the art on the cards. So like when I was in high school, in my freshman year of art, I would try to like replicate the cards. I thought the art that was really cool.
Blue Eyes Ultimate was like my favorite card.
Yeah, that's like the 3-headed one, right?
Yeah,
where you gotta fuse all. Yeah.
So there's also
deck has no weak cards. Kaiba.
I mean, considering the fact that we're on this topic right now, let me go ahead and share to you my most hated card by just oh my god, Cyber Dragon. I hate this card. Anyone who ran this card is a bitch ass motherfucker, and I'm gonna piss on their wife.
Oh, this is an Eldar thing, isn't it? This is like this thing wrecked everything you tried to do, and now you have a never-ending grudge with it.
It's really good. It's really good base stats, and it's summonable. Granted, this was like 15 years ago when I played, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gone power creeped into oblivion, but even so. Okay, curiosity. I'm assuming we're hopping into 40k Daemon Engines now, like current Daemon Engines.
We are.
Okay, there's two I really am excited to talk about.
Well, we're gonna. When I say lump a few together, I feel like there's like good sort of parity between them. The Forge Fiend and Mauler Fiend.
Yes.
You've got the Venomcrawler and the Hellstalker. Now, I'm kind of putting those together because they are what I feel like is the current Games Workshop like design approach for Daemon Engines, where you can literally look at like the Soul Grinder and the Defiler, and then you can look at these three and see how they've kind of improved on the idea of it and made them more of a proper hybrid.
Venomcrawler and Disco Lord are some of my personal favorites, but
Disco Lord.
Well, are we gonna do the Hellbrute as well, or is that kind of like a side
the Hellbrute's a weird one.
It is a weird one.
I guess it's technically kind of a Daemon Engine, but it's not really labeled as such.
No, it's like what you would call the Chaos Dreadnought. But ironically, there's also Chaos Dreadnoughts, which are just Dreadnoughts, but with a different paint job.
Yeah. I've heard of the Hellbrute. I don't remember what they are, though.
It's literally a Chaos Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, it's just got all like the okay. That's it.
Kinda.
So why don't they just call it a Chaos Dreadnought? Is it just to be cool and be like, oh yeah, we're Chaos. We don't have Dreadnoughts. We have Hellbrutes.
They used to be Chaos Dreadnoughts, and then as they started to separate the ranges out more, because when it, like, years and years and years and years ago, the difference between Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines was effectively Space Marines had a bit more stuff, and Chaos Space Marines had more spikes. So when you looked at a Chaos Space Marine army, you were looking at Space Marines with spiky bits, and their tanks had spiky bits, but like, Space Marines had Predators and Land Raiders and Rhinos and Dreadnoughts, and Chaos Space Marines had Predators and Land Raiders and Rhinos and Dreadnoughts, and, like, a lot of it was not, like, mirrored, but there wasn't much, like, in the way of divergence between the two factions. So you would see Space Marine armies and Chaos Space Marine armies that really functionally played kind of the same and even had pretty much the same units. So a Chaos Space Marine squad would have, you know, a guy with a rocket launcher and a guy with a plasma gun, and you would see exactly the same thing from a tactical squad. Just like Land Raiders would have exactly the same loadouts, they were very, very similar factions, and what Games Workshop started to do was, like, pair them out. So Chaos Space Marines started to get more different stuff. So things like Dreadnoughts became Hellbrutes. You had things like the Defiler showing up, which was nothing like anything that the Space Marines had. They just started to kind of differentiate them more by introducing more, like, Daemon Engines. Like, when Flyers became common for all of the factions, then you had things like the Helldrake instead of getting, like, a Space Marine copy, if that makes sense. So it's pretty much just them shifting one faction further away from the other so that they are...
Right. So it's just a Hellbrute because they needed more Chaos variation, so it wasn't just a makeshift, like, Space Marine spin-off.
Pretty much.
Gotcha,
I mean, the Chaos Dreadnoughts did look sufficiently different, but they were also things like... I mean, I've got a Chaos Dreadnought here, and it's a big chunk of metal, and it does look very different from the Space Marine one, but I think for a lot of it, my money is basically on the fact that it's easy to get things confused if you don't know what you're looking for as a new person. So if you're looking for a Dreadnought, and you see Space Marine Dreadnought and Chaos Space Marine Dreadnought, there may be a chance that someone who doesn't know picks up the wrong thing because they know what they're getting, they just don't know the specifics of it. Right. Whereas you cannot mistake a Hellbrute for a Dreadnought. Obviously, that's still present for, like, the basic tanks, like the Rhino, the Predator, the Land Raider, etc. But, like... There's just so much more variety of Daemon Engine and Chaos-specific stuff now that I don't think that is such an issue as it might have been in the past. That's just a, like, personal theory, but it's having met more than a few people when I first started playing who had picked up one thing thinking it was either for another thing or was a different thing entirely. That's just kind of what my assumption was when they started to shift things apart for those two factions.
Yeah. Also, that Hellbrute I posted looks so sick.
Yeah, I like the Hellbrutes a lot personally. I think their kit is like somewhat recent. It's not like mega recent, but it's not super old either. It's a good in between.
Yeah.
I would like a few more physical customization options, but originally I was okay with that because you could also play as the regular Dreadnoughts in Chaos, but then they removed them, so now it's like the only Dreadnought you have. And I would like a Chaos version of like a Contemptor or of a Leviathan, because this is the Chaos version of like a box Dreadnought, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I would much like, or like a Chaos Derrideo would look incredible.
These are so much cooler looking than Space Marine Dreadnoughts, by the way. Oh my god.
But I just wanted to bring that one up because I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it, because I know Forge Fiend and Mauler Fiend are pretty recent, and they look great.
Oh, I love those. Yep. When I was toying with the idea of Thousand Suns, I thought I was going to get 1, 2, or 3 of the minis for like the Mauler Fiend or whatever, and I wasn't sure if I wanted them to be ranged or melee, and isn't that like the difference between them as far as the minis are concerned? So Mauler Fiend is melee and the other one is long range?
Yeah, so the Forge Fiend has got a couple of options. You can either fit it with basically Gatling guns or plasma cannons. Sorry, technically ectoplasma cannon. I don't know what the difference is. I think they're the same, aren't they? Stat-wise?
It's the ectoplasm that's the difference.
It's the ecto.
I
Makes
think
all the
it's just
difference.
to give them different profiles and let it kind of,
Yeah. Whereas the Mauler is all melee. You got big chunky claws and a bunch of metallic tentacles, which look great. I think this is one of the best like chaos kits they've made. Full stop. It's so unique, and it has such a good blend of. When I was complaining about like the Defiler and not the Defiler, but the Soul Grinder not having enough in the way of that kind of muscle and sinew over the legs, that's exactly what they fixed with the Hellbrute, the Forge Fiend, and the Mauler Fiend.
Yeah,
like they've kind of integrated the two like biological demony bits and actual mechanical stuff so much better with those kits.
Yeah, I like them a lot. They are some of my favorite kits recently too. The next two we're going to talk about are arguably my favorite chaos kits outside of the new Chosen they launched. Well, and vashtorr, of course, vashtorr.
Of course, we support vashtorr in this house.
Great.
Yeah,
I do like vashtorr. Might actually be my favorite chaos kit, just because he's.
Ooh, wow.
Well, a lot of Daemon Engines look really like big and muscly. And vashtorr looks like a gaunt, starving person. He's really it's like someone just stretched the skin over everything it could. I don't know what it is, but it's like his face, his lantern eyes, and everything is just really like unnerving. Instead of ooga booga, I'm chaos. I'm imagining it like a lot more scratchy,
I like him because of all the mechanical bits, like those crazy like scythe wings and his ridiculous looking claw and that backpack are just like, whoa. Like he has a crazy look to him just all over.
Well, that's the thing. I think with a lot of the Daemon Engines, they look brutal. Like they look heavily muscled or really heavily armored. They look kind of alien as well in a lot of cases. Vashtorr doesn't have any of that. He doesn't look really chunky or really muscular. He doesn't look particularly big. He's just creepy in every single part of him. The wings aren't really wings. They're made of like giganto knives. The hand is really really like long and spindly, but also looks serrated and sharp. He just looks scary. And Daemon Engines as a whole do kind of look scary, but he just has like an extra quality of being, because he's so slim and tall, it just looks wrong in the best way.
He looks like a demonic Mr. Burns.
What?
I just think of him.
Why'd you say it?
I just think of him a little bit like that right now. I'm like Mr. Burns, and like the way Mr. Burns walks and his like hunch and everything. Like that's kind of
nope.
Yep. Kirioth, I would love to see the Venomcrawler.
Oh, I'm going to be thinking about that for weeks. You may have ruined that.
It
for
doesn't.
Me now, but
don't worry, Kirioth. You're going to look at it and be like, "No, that doesn't actually look like Mr. Burns at all."
Yeah, but now I'm hearing Mr. Burns in my head, and it doesn't not fit, and that's the problem.
The staticky Smithies.
Oh no! So,
sir.
This is the Venomcrawler, and I reckon if they did do a new Defiler, which they should, it should basically be a much bigger version of this, but with a bit more armor, because the Venomcrawler is awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
Do we have a picture of its fat fucking dumper? Do we have a picture?
Oh yeah, it's got a big ass, hasn't it? It's got a massive ass.
Only Bricky could see a Venomcrawler and be like, "Hey, Kyria, you got a picture of that thing's big fat ass?
No,
you gotta
understand,
man?
You gotta see this.
It's just because the back of it is like heavily demonic and fleshy, and it looks really cool.
All right,
and there's a reason for it as well, right? Bricky isn't just saying this because he's got like a weird obsession. This is an actual thing.
Damn, Shy, that was way worse than I expected you to post. I was just looking for an angle shot, but you got the
oh
thing
wow,
is backing it up into the camera.
Yeah, I don't love that. I actually do not love that. That looks awful, and I hate it.
I love how like
that's so disgusting.
how like stretched and all the tubes that are coming out of every little side angle of it. It's
Yeah, and those just little sinews that are just barely hanging on for dear life. Oh no, that's gross. Oh, I hate it.
It's awesome.
It is
love
great. It is great chaos aesthetic because it just makes me unsettled.
The thing is, as well, it's like there's reason for it too, which it's not just there for the hell of it. So these are one of the demon engines where they're not necessarily the demons that are pulled into it don't necessarily want to be there. They are like bound into these things, and when they go hunting and when they kill stuff, they will like haunt places. They'll like have parasitic demons that are summoned into the chassis of the Venomcrawler. And as more of them are like absorbed into it, their like weird gut arse will just become more distended and filled with like energies that can be harvested to create other demon engines.
I don't think I've ever heard their weird gut ass used in a sentence until today. Thank you for that, Kirioth.
It's not the proudest I've ever been, but you know.
Do you think the Nurgle one uses it far more for the brat gas to like do you think like it spreads poison? You know, because in game when the Hellbrute fires at something, they get affected by Nurgle's aura. It's like a way to transmit it. So do you think? Do you think? I want you to think about this for a long time. Do you think that?
I want you to think about this for a long time.
I can't keep this.
Really
going.
sit with it.
I can't
really sit with it.
I want you
ruminate.
to stew in it. You ever?
Oh no!
You ever go into a shower and close the door and fart and then accidentally hotbox yourself by doing so?
Sir,
this is
what
a Wendy's.
What the fuck is going on, dude? Sir, this is a Wendy's. You have to stop. Just order something and go.
Technically, in spider anatomy, it's called abdomen, not fat dumper bricky. Well, you know what they say. Science is all made up words.
You haven't watched enough anime if you don't think spiders have fat dumpers.
Oh, that's so much worse than anything I just said.
So the next one is the hellstalker.
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with the last of that section, other than hope that Shy nukes it and it never sees the light of day. So let's talk about
Hellstalker,
which is it's kind of relegated in a way to being a glorified horse, but it's still really cool. It's the mount for the Lord Discordant, which is a chaos. For some reason, I was going to say a chaos boss guy, but I don't know why. I think you've just broken me down over the last 50 minutes, and it's really starting to affect me.
You're welcome, Kirioth. You're welcome. Welcome to our world.
I thought I was used to it by now, but apparently not.
Ooh,
that's
love
so
this guy. Cool. Whoa,
so good.
It's honestly so good. It's so good in like a million ways, but to me the face makes it. It's the weird multi like fanged maw of metal. It's so creepy.
Whoa, it's like a chaos armored scorpion horse mount. That's so cool.
The dude on the back is really cool too. He has this giant chain glaive, which is just a great sentence.
Oh,
in general.
Chain glaive! I didn't know that was a thing.
Plus his mask, that like skull face mask, and all the. I mean, like if you look at the mini close up, you could even see he's got like an eyeball. He's like a targeting squig, but for chaos on his
he
trophy
on his backpack.
racks.
Oh, is that a trophy rack? Yeah.
Yeah, well, same deal.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I love. Shy is also correct. It is a huge pain in the ass to build.
Yeah, I can confirm.
It's just there's so many spiky bits on it too that
it's so spindly. Like the core of it isn't too bad, but there's so many spikes and the legs and the tail. You pick it up wrong and you just start bleeding, which is very chaos, but is also not what I want at the start of a relaxing session of painting, you know?
I was thinking it, and Shai just said it, but with how many little spiky, like, thin bits there are, I bet this thing breaks like nothing.
It's not actually. It might just be me.
For me, it's the glaive. The glaive is the part that's the really high up compared to everything else, and that often gets caught.
Okay.
Or the tail.
Yeah, I was thinking like
the
tail or like the spiky tendrils. Not so much the legs or the gun, but I was thinking like those tendrils and spikes, and yeah, that looks like a nightmare to actually deal with as a mini.
I've broken the glaive once, but not any of the other bits so far. I mean, I've dropped it several times because every single model I own ends up on the floor repeatedly. But yeah, it's so. I think it's probably the closest I'd go to like perfect for like what the Daemon Engine should be. I think just every part of it works super well, and especially when like you zoom in on things. So like if you look at the face with these weird little claws and stuff, the syringe on the face of it. It exists to inject scrap code into into other combatants. So when it fights stuff, it injects scrap code into them.
It's the technovirus injector. Yes.
So the AdMech must hate this. Like this is like the anti-AdMech Chaos Daemon Engine.
Yeah, it's I like in game, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's different now, but back then, basically what you would do is if there was an enemy like vehicle next to it, let's say it had 20 health left, you would just grab 20 dice and roll it, and every 6 it would like remove one. So it's just like it's like meant to be debilitating.
Yeah.
I think in game now, if you're close to it, it can like screw with your targeting and maybe even make you not shoot if you roll well enough. Unfortunately, the Disco Lord is really bad right now. But
it's not as fun as it was, is it?
No, but he was like top dog for a while. It's also lovely when one of the coolest looking models is also one of the strongest.
Yeah, that's such a badass mini.
He is super cool.
Oh,
it's probably one of my favorite. Just the vibe. It's great.
Yeah, that's a tough one not to immediately fall in love with. If you have any sort of inkling towards chaos, that's got to be like top 3.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, that
I tell you what,
that in vashtorr.
Sure.
Although fielding vashtorr is an exercise in being sad, so
vashtorr is so bad.
he gets pride of place on the shelf and never anywhere else.
Hey, at least he looks really great. So if you don't have to field him.
You've
just
got
get him
something
for
nice
the decoration's sake. Yeah.
So I reckon we've got a little. We'll do a couple of god specific ones because there's a couple of Daemon Engines that I feel like especially DK you'll really like a couple of these. So
I better.
The first up is the Plague Hulk, which is you can guess what the Plague Hulk's from.
Big.
It's
a Death Guard thing, right? Because it's a plague thing, right? This is a Plague Hulk. Gotta be a big nurgly. Oh, gross!
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Oh, so it's like This looks like it's just like one of those. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a Defiler, but like super nurgly.
Pretty much. It's basically a really horrendous soul grinder style Daemon Engine, which it's a Forge World model. It's absolutely brilliant and awful at the same time.
Are those
so you basically
giant
get the
maggots coming out of its stomach?
I don't know if they're maggots or entrails.
Yeah,
they could be both.
It's gross, and man, that is a premier Nurgle mini.
It's really awful. I love it. I love these things. I don't know that they're still in production. I believe they're gone now, which is a shame. But
that is unfortunate.
You've basically got like the lower half of the Defiler because you've got the double pronged claws at the front, but then this horrible it's so like droopy and open the body.
Yeah.
It's really awful. I really like it. Similar vein, there's also a Forge World model called the Blight Drone, which is horrendous.
Oh, I love that thing.
It's it's so good. I love the Blight drone.
Oh, I've seen these. Weren't these in Bolt Gun?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they look kind of stupid.
Yeah, a little bit.
But they've got the little dangly. What is it called? Is it the proboscis at the back? The little dangly,
the little poopy, like
yeah,
thing at the back. Yeah. And then they got
the
props.
Do they have that little proboscis, that little dumpy? Is that what you said? My brother,
I did not say that little. I did not say dumpy.
Christ.
No, go check the tape.
Things.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, Bruce just corrupted me this episode, and now I'm hearing dumpy everywhere. Okay,
God damn British telling me to.
I'm not having it. I'm not
tape. The tape.
We're in like the 1970s, right? That's fine.
What did you have a wait? Hold on. The Blight drone's hilarious, but we gotta show DK the Mephitic Blight hauler and the other flying one, whatever it's called.
Oh yes, so the fetid bloat drone. Well, I think, to be honest, the fetid bloat drone is actually a cool model. I don't like the Mephitic Blight hauler because it looks too cute.
I've seen these.
The Blight hauler is a bit too stubby. I agree. But the flyer, I love the. You want to tell DK what that weapon is on the left hand side?
Oh wait, of which one? The flyer or the tank looking thing?
Oh,
middle picture left one flyer.
So,
what is that?
What was it called? Hang on, the flesh mower. That was it.
Oh no! Nope. Oh god, does it do what I think it does?
Oh, it mows the lawn, buddy.
It just.
Oh yeah.
It gets like significantly more attacks. The whole point is to like eat a whole squad of guardsmen, just like.
Just go in there, just blend them up real good. It just hovers off the ground, constantly spinning.
I
love that.
I do like the Blight hauler's little face. I could use a little bit more going on, but I do like its little crab face.
Yeah, that is. I do like that little crab face mower thing. I like that. That's cool.
That's the thing that kind of like it both makes it and spoils it for me. I love the little face, but I don't love it because it's like a Nurgle thing. I love it because it's adorable, and I don't know that I necessarily want that in my Daemon Engine of disease and plague, you know? I don't know. But then again, a lot of Nurgle stuff does have like a little kind of cutesy element to it. I mean, the sassy Nurgling is the most popular Nurgle ever made.
I kind of agree, though. Like, I feel like when you look at it, and if it's not painted like that, it could be for literally any Chaos faction. Like, this does not look like a Nurgle-specific thing. Like, that could be anybody's little crazy Daemon Engine tank mower.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
It's not like fleshy and diseased enough for like a Death Guard specific unit.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, actually. I feel like the bloat drone is. The bloat drone's just got some like weird aura of just horribleness about it that the Blight Hauler doesn't have. Also, the Plague Burst Mortar, I don't just it shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a Daemon Engine.
That has literally the same vibes to me, where it's like that could be for any Chaos faction. That doesn't look like a Death Guard specific thing. That just looks like a mortar that any Chaos faction could use. It looks great, but yeah, if you just change the paint job to blue, it's like, oh yeah, that's totally a Thousand Suns thing.
Also, they really messed up the background for that because they said that it was something designed by Mortarion. But what they did when they did a Forge World unit for Horus Heresy, which was, I think it was the Architor Bombard or something like that. I forget the exact name of it. But it was a tank that was basically that. But then for some reason, they just made it so that Mortarion made the Death Guard only version and came up with it, which makes it seem like he just plagiarized something he'd seen during the Horus Heresy, instead of it being the Death Guard captured a bunch of them and turned them into this weird thing, which I'm still, like, I just don't understand the logic behind it. They were like, here's a tank that looks really similar to another tank that came way before it.
Yeah,
it's not the same tank. He just liked
it. Can I copy your homework, but don't make it too obvious?
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. Also, it's mortar because it's designed by Mortar.
Mortar, okay. Land Raider Strikes Back. Land Raider.
We love Ark and Land.
Yeah, he's great.
He's the best.
He is.
So, we have previously talked about the Lord of Skulls, I'm pretty sure. Did we bring up the Lord of Skulls before? Or am I imagining?
We must have. I know of the Lord of Skulls, yeah.
Yeah, it's been
the funny
talked
tank. Funny tank tread bottom.
With tons of skulls.
Tons of skulls. Shy hates it. She likes her kitan a lot more.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we're gonna talk about the more the less silly version, which is the kitan, which is basically the Lord of Skulls, but they gave it legs. Also,
That's cool.
Is that Baneblade shooting directly into the Lord of Skulls' stomach hole?
I think
it's just
the tread
a
is in the
perspective
front.
issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
That
in the
being
little
said,
thumbnail there, I was like, that
Yeah.
is a very specific fetish, but you go off. It's fine.
Wow, we've really broken you, Kirioth, that you are saying that.
How dare you judge me? How dare you?
I only said it was specific. I didn't say it was bad. I feel like there's some shame going on here that you don't need to be feeling, all right?
Oh, so you accept it. So you're encouraging it.
Hey, guys, listen. Let's not fight over this. It's 2023. If your thing is tank gun going
1776 up in here,
going into a chitin's, blowhole, then by all means, you guys do you. I'm here for you. Slay.
Go
Slay.
watch an anime
God.
snake bang a man.
You could probably
What
very
was that
easily
reference?
find that. That sounds like a Monster Musume reference.
That is what that reference was. Kitan, it has legs.
That was too anime for me. I didn't have anything for that, but I like how this was the introduction to this thing.
I gotta be honest, I kind of don't like the legs on the Kitan. I kind of like it with the stupid treads better.
All right, no, you yeah. I'm sorry, what?
This is a Siege of Vrax nuclear take right here.
I'm sorry,
what?
The legs, like the top, it looks so weirdly top heavy to me.
Look, as someone who
looks like the legs need to be bulkier.
As someone who did the whole Lord of Skulls thing, put it together, modified it a little bit, I need to respectfully ask, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
it needs some big chunky Gundam legs.
What do you mean? They are chunky.
No, there's a specific
Look at the armor
Gundam from a... Okay, I'm gonna really go weeb on you. There's a specific Gundam. It's called Stardust Memory. There's this one Gundam that's got these big-ass chunky legs. And it needs like these really like chunked out legs. Those are just... the legs are too skinny. It's okay. A cool mini, but they're just...
What do you mean?
I need to say something very important here, and it's going to be mind-blowing.
He skipped leg day!
I actually agree with DK. I like the treads more.
Let's go, baby!
I like the treads more, mainly because whenever I think World Eaters, I think, like, moronic. I think just a frothing, blunt instrument into face. And the idea of a gigantic tank rolling up to beat you in the head with an axe, just it's peak. I love it. Like,
it is peak World Bears, yeah. Word Bears, sorry.
What? World Eaters?
World Eaters!
Never mind. I like the legs more. DK, you've lost.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
I do really.
I'm really hoping.
I like the tank.
I'm over caffeinated on bad takes. I'm sorry.
It feels like. Yeah, like also the giant vials in the back are filled with blood, and that's how it powers itself. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's something about... We talked about the World Eater, Lord Invicata's character, when he was flying in the air with land raiders in the sky on trails of fire, shooting down planes, and like World Eaters jumping from rhinos in the sky on like a My Little Pony thing of flame. And to me, it just... Like, the idea of a Lord of Skulls also on the ground doing shenanigans like that just fits. It just fits.
Yep. Shai said it's a melee tank fueled with blood briggy. It's peak dumbass, so no wonder DK loves it.
And no wonder I love it.
That would explain why we've been such big fans of you for so long, Shai.
I really hope that the mic picked up me getting up from my chair and leaving the room and slamming the door behind me, because I'm pretty sure Discord cut all of that off. I mean, to be fair, I've bought a lot of skulls, I've put it together, and I used it a lot, so I can't really be too hypocritical about this, but it just not as cool. It just can't do as much. Like, it can't turn properly, and the stomach gun is kind of weird and not functional. And
if the chitin's
weird, I'll give you that.
If the chitin legs were like a little beefier, I think I'd be into him more.
So basically, you just want
very,
thick thighs, is what you're after.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Is that a problem?
You know what? I can respect
so
it.
Thick they have treads.
We are so cursed this episode. Whoa, Kira, you bring out some strange stuff in us, dude.
You can't blame me for this. You can't, like, I think it's the opposite way around. I think you've done something to me this time round. Look, we've got 2 things left that I want to show you, and then we can.
I'm with Kiri on this one. This is our fault.
Fine.
I feel vindicated. So, 2 more. We've got the Blood Slaughterer.
Ooh, let's go.
Guess who that belongs to?
Oh, surely that's that's Zinch, obviously, right? Surely.
Wait,
obviously that's obviously corn.
Is that the Blood Slaughterer?
Well, there's 2 different versions, basically.
Okay,
I mean, that looks pretty dope, though.
I thought it was like the Harpoon one, isn't it?
No, the Harpoon one is the. Hang on. Wait, which one? Wait, hang on. Hang on a second, because there's 2 different versions of the Blood Slaughterer. There's this, and then there's like a slightly. Where's it gone? There's like just a kind of model variation of it, both like Forge World models. The Harpoon one.
Oh wow, that is a
good.
piece of art right there. Whoa,
absolutely horrifying. They're not.
Yeah, that guy is so dead. He is getting absorbed into chaos so hard. Sheesh.
But it's basically bigger than a like a box knot for the Space Marines. But it has legs made of knives, and it has knives made of knives, and they just exist entirely to absolutely rip everything in front of them into pieces.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he walking on his arm knife?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's the other one on Forge World that has got the Impaler Harpoon. That was it. I was looking for it.
Wow.
So they've got like, there's kind of technically loadouts that they can have, but they pretty much all have the whole too many swords for one guy kind of vibe going on.
Yeah, that is such a weird design too. I mean, I love it, but that's such a strange, like, it looks like a torso that's just walking on, like you said, knives. It's just such a, like, it looks like it got bisected. And it's just like, well, I've got all these knives. I might as well make use of them and crawl along.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's so chaos.
I love it. I absolutely love this thing. It's also like a relatively old model as well. Like, it's been around for quite a while. But they are like, they're not massively heavily armored, but they are very fast. They're like really fast, and they've got enough.
So they like chitter along like on those little knives?
Yeah, they like,
I hate that. Oh boy, that's awful.
They pretty much just sprint across the battlefield at you and then carve you into little pieces before you know what's going on.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
It's great. I love those. I kind of wish they'd become plastic at some point, because that would be.
Shai says it's also so effed up even for Khorne worshippers. They don't put a demon inside it until the actual battle starts because it never wants to not be killing. Yeah, that does.
It's got one job. It's got one job, and it wants to do it all the time.
All the time. Yep, it's a workaholic.
So the last one, and I as soon as when me and Shai were talking about what to do for this episode, this was a large reason as to why I wanted to do this particular topic, because I really wanted to show you the Brass Scorpion.
Oh, I hate this model.
The Brass Scorpion?
The Brass Scorpion.
Whoa!
Yeah, there it is.
Thing! I've seen this. Yeah, this thing is cool. Sure.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I
Is it just too armory or something for you and not like chaosy enough, or?
No,
I mean, conceptually, it's
more
very
flesh. It needs more flesh.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see, especially for like a Daemon Engine, you expect it to be like overly fleshy and grotesque and mutated, and this does look kind of just like, oh, it's a scorpion shooter tank. So
I will say, there is a absolute
oh
baller.
God.
Okay, the corpses and the wires are pretty cool. There is a guy who had like a full scale Emperor class Titan, and he took the hand and turned it into an Addams Family style brass scorpion. Where the wrist was is where the turret was and stuff, and it crawled along the battlefield. Ever since I saw that, I was like, damn! And I looked at what the actual brass scorpion looked like, and I'm like, oh, I like yours more.
Yeah, that's a very clever use of a brass scorpion.
Yeah, so that was the reason I'm kind of like, I've been spoiled by it, but it's a fun one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like it. It's fine. It's just. Yeah, I think I kind of a little bit agree with Bricky that it's like when you think of Daemon Engine, you expect a lot more like twisted, gnarled chaos. Bleh.
Conceptually, it is also very like direct compared to everything else. Like when you look at things like the helldrake, the Venomcrawler, even the Defiler and Soul Grinder, they haven't been built to like look like a specific thing. Like, if you look at the Blood Slaughterer, like, just even scrolling up a little bit, it's like, oh, here's this weird, like, mess of wires and carapace and knives, and it looks really creepy, but it doesn't necessarily look like anything. Whereas the Brass Scorpion, it literally just looks like a robot scorpion.
Like a brass scorpion, yeah.
Well, like, compared to everything else, that kind of really specific design that is based off something that, we know, and is just a thing that exists, it kind of stands out as being weird, but I would argue in a, like, not the right way. Everything else is weird because it looks like a weird mess of, cables and creature and mechanical items and guns and stuff, and they don't look like anything other than what they are, whereas the Brass Scorpion is like, oh, cool, it's a robot scorpion. Why is it a robot scorpion? Why has Khorne got a robot scorpion? What's the scorpion bit for?
It looks like one of those things that, like, depending on how you paint it or whatever, you could justifiably roll it for the Space Marines, just loyalists, or you could run it for chaos. Like, it's just kind of that in between where it's like, yeah, it's cool, but like it's not. I could see someone mixing that up as not being a chaos thing if they never knew the difference, or like their first time into 40k. They're just like, oh, cool scorpion, sure. That's not chaos.
If you literally just colored it green, it's a Necron model. Like,
oh yeah. That's
like,
fair. Actually,
instantly.
That's fair. I hadn't thought about that.
That the hazard stripes and like Iron Warriors colors. That's kind of doing it for me.
That hits
is
pretty hard,
cool.
actually. Yeah. I like
it's
that.
It's a very Iron Warriors looking creature because a little bit more metal.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not quite like Khorne enough. Maybe it's too kind of controlled.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like a Khorne thing for sure. Like, it seems
it's not
way outside Khorne's box.
Oh wait, no, it is Khorne's thing because it's brass. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember seeing one guy did a Daemon Engine or a Demon Prince conversion for Iron Warriors, where I think it was a Stodes dreadnought retrofit with a gigantic hammer and siege shield. As like a Custodes kind of Demon Prince thing. And I was like, as a Iron Warriors Demon Prince thing. And I think that the more cleaner metal, like I think of word bearers and I think, okay, flesh with metal. When I think of Iron Warriors, I think like cables and metal. I mean, there's plenty of flesh in the Iron Warrior stuff, don't get me wrong, but
so Shites just posted the concept art for them, and that would have been so much better. Like, I mean, it'd probably be an absolute mess to make that into a mini, but that sort of fits the idea of like what I would sort of expect from a Chaos Daemon Engine Brass Scorpion.
Top left, definitely. I need
absolutely.
The tendrils make it. Also,
and there's like all that skin coming out, and the claws are more prominent, and
I found the conversion.
Oh wow, that's
the Iron Warriors thing. It's kind of the vibe I can see, a bit more.
Oh, that's the Iron Circle robot, isn't it? Forge World.
Oh yeah, it is. So you're right. It's not Stody's Dreadnought. My bad. But yeah, like that's like their Demon Prince conversion. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really cool. The thing is that if you go between the Iron Warriors like painted brass scorpion and then scroll down to that Demon Prince, like same army. Just like you could put those next to each other and it would look like they were designed to be next to each other. For me,
yeah.
Yep.
Well, also the new Chaos Demon Prince, like the actual new Demon Prince, looks incredible.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Anyway, is that all you got for us?
But yeah, I think that's a good place to.
Yeah.
To be honest, there are loads more, but a lot of them are like epic things and hilariously and small. But I'm also aware that frequently when we do this, we get to a certain point and then Shy has to threaten to murder us for us to stop. So that's probably a good point to. Yeah. There we go. Yep, there we go. I was.
Wow, that's great.
That is one of the most corn things I've ever seen.
Now I need you to take a World Eater and have him on the top with a leash.
With a leash. Just on one of the bone spires, just with a leash, and it has to be Wally, right?
Fuck you. Take Corn Tower of Skull. That actually would be a hilarious conversion meme. Corn Lord of Skulls, Corn Tower of Skulls, Corn Dog of Skulls, and it's just like a really big blood crusher.
Oh yeah, just put the torso of the chitin up on top of the spire, and then you've got the Tower of Lord of Skulls.
Tower of Lord of Skulls.
Yeah, the Tower of Lord of Skulls.
Just see how many elves you can ram in there. It's true, yeah. To be fair, the Tower of Skulls is an actual thing. It's not something that's just been made up.
Please tell me.
Wait. Okay. It's not because that's a Baneblade chassis on the bottom, obviously. Yeah. So wait, it's not a unit, obviously, but was there like a lore thing where they said corn worshippers took over this damaged Baneblade and turned it into a mobile tower, or is this someone's conversion of the concept?
This is a conversion of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's basically just a big wheeled tank or track tank that has got gun towers made of skulls. Covered in guns, just rolls forwards and crushes everything in front of it, whilst also shooting things. It's silly. It's also not got an official model. So
no, really.
There is the Cauldron of Blood. You can have a Cauldron of Blood if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, with knowing GW, it wouldn't surprise me if they had a Forge World Mini of this, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, it's just $20,000, guys. No big deal."
What the fuck is that?
Oh, it's a classic Cauldron of Blood.
That is an old Mini. Yikes.
You know what? Some absolutely insane nonsense came out of Epic back in the day. They made models of any old nonsense.
Would you like to?
Doom
Blaster.
Oh no!
All right, we got to do.
They've come a long way. Yeah. We need a separate video for this sort of nonsense. Otherwise, we're gonna be here all day.
We need an Epic era like Daemon Engines video.
I will say to end this episode with a fun story. I remember buying I wanted to buy 2 Baneblades off of eBay, and some guy was selling them for really cheap because I guess he wasn't playing anymore, like really cheap. And I got them, and they showed up, and they were epic. So epic is like a 20th of the scale DK. So they were like tiny little paperweights, and I was like, this guy absolutely scammed me. I cannot believe he did this, because I thought he put epic in the title as in they were really cool.
They were really cool. Yeah.
They were epic Baneblades. And I'm like, nice. I got these for like $50 each. Or something like that. And then I realized that I was the dumb.
Unironically, that sounds like exactly something I would do, without a doubt.
Well, they like to keyword soup the eBay stuff. So
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they
Epic
really
makes
do.
sense. But,
Also, you got to stick pro painted in there as well. Pro painted goes in every
pro-painted
single
epic
one.
tank.
Pro Painted has been doing some heavy lifting lately.
That and AI generated descriptions, which have become my new favorite thing to find, because you'll see things like this Chaos Knight will delight the discerning collector, and it's like, mate, it's a Chaos Knight. What are you talking about? It's fine. Why are you selling it to me so hard? Oh, okay, it's clearly AI. This is great.
Yep.
Oh my god. All right. Play us out, Blood Slaughter, because hell is wheelchair accessible.
As all places should be.
God bless the four powers.